Connor Stalions, no expense reports. So the same guy, what was it, Larry Lage, I think was his name, who reported for the AP that Ohio State and Purdue were working in conjunction with their sign stealing. He is reporting that he went to Michigan and filed a freedom, what's it called, a freedom of knowledge act or something, or a freedom of information act. That's right. He filed a freedom of information act, which is responded to in record time. That said it was responded to like within just a little while. What was it, a month or something like that? Which, if you know anything about these freedom of information acts, that is like, no, it doesn't happen nearly that fast ever. So, just a really interesting situation. And Michigan has come out and said that Connor Stalions never filed any expense reports during his 17 months there when he was formally employed. So, obviously, Michigan fans are happy about this. This shows that, Michigan wasn't paying for these tickets and stuff like that, at least on the books to do those kinds of things. So, a bit of a win here for the Michigan Wolverines. Guys, I want your thoughts. Do you guys feel like this is a win? Do you feel like it matters? I mean, what are kind of some of your general thoughts on this and what goes into the whole Michigan situation? Max, let's start with you first.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like any news now that comes out, it feels like the damage is already done, right? I mean, whether he, it seems like he really did it, whether or not Michigan knew about it or not, or who at Michigan knew about it. At this point, it's really hard to believe anything or know who to believe in what everyone's saying. So to me, this coming out is really kind of nothing. It maybe helps Michigan in like some legal cases or whatever they're going to use it for, but at the end of the day, the whole thing is just it's a crazy story. It's kind of funny in a way. In the back of my mind, I always I keep thinking like, is this almost like good for college football that there's just crazy scandals going on in the background that are more or less, it's stealing signs. It's not like people are throwing the games or paying off refs or doing anything, too bad that, obviously there's rules against what they did. So whatever punishment they get, I guess that's what they get. But this news that came out to me is, I don't know. It's a lot of nothing, I guess.
Nothing burger. Anthony, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it doesn't really move the needle for me either. It's kind of like given some of the other information that's already been revealed about what was going on, I think it'll get used in the court, maybe to Michigan's defense. My counter to it would be, if it truly is not an allowable act, then why would they file an expense report to document it? Like
Right.
that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. It doesn't really exonerate Michigan or Stallions necessarily, but I guess you could kind of you could make the case that it's strengthening the he was acting alone scenario. But to given all how poorly Stallions did some of his other spy work, right, using a personal credit card and his own Venmo account, like it wouldn't surprise me if he did leave a paper trail of expense reports to also document it. So I don't know. I think it's just funny to watch. Every headline on this is going to be almost clickbait at this point. People just see Stallions' name and then immediately anger tweet or troll at it. So it's just I don't know. This one doesn't feel like as monumental as some of the other revelations that we've gotten in this whole saga.
Have we just become numb that like something comes out now and it's like, oh, more information, Like, okay, you're like, I'll read about it because I want to be informed, but it's like, how big a news is this really? To me, I do think that the big news of it is it can be used in court. I think that any rational fan, and maybe Michigan fans would disagree with me on this. That's okay. Michigan fans, you've disagreed with me a lot on Twitter. That's fine. I've seen your cope harder, cry harder, and trust me, I'm coping and crying so hard. But I feel like it is gonna help with the legal side of it for them to be able to say like, hey, we don't have any kind of paperwork on hand, nothing like that. Us fans will be able to say like, look, he probably just went to a donor, and like the donor funded him money. Or look at this random, used vacuum service that, had like 1-star reviews on it on Amazon. Like obviously this guy was funneling money somehow for him to be able to do these things. The $15,000 thing that was put out there before, like I don't buy that at all. I've gone to games and I can tell you, especially going to games where I'm traveling across state lines, if I went to 30 games, that would not cost $15,000, be much, much more than that. So, and I don't know what kind of compensation he gets from the military or anything like that. And that's just kind of the whole thing with it. Like there's a lot of unknowns, but at the same time, like you said, Anthony, it's like, I'm kind of surprised there's no paper trail because this has all been done so poorly. It's almost like you expect something like that. But at the end of the day, if there is none, there's nothing they can really use and hold up in court. So you guys got any final thoughts on this?
I think it'd be hilarious if the next night game, Michigan, all of their staff just wore sunglasses.
With little blue lights.
Go the extra step. Just troll even harder.
I think that this Ohio State game is going to be just, I don't know. It's going to be heated. It's going to be intense as it's ever been. I don't know. I think this is doing nothing but good things for that rivalry. Honestly, they're just going to, it's the most, intense we'll see these fans.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I was just talking to one of my buddies about this the other day. Like, normally I kind of get concerned about fights happening on the field, and like players getting ejected and stuff like that. I'm not really concerned about that with the players. I think both teams are, disciplined enough and old enough to not really engage in that kind of stuff. I'm more worried about the fans and, some of the people I know that are going to the game. And it's like, I don't think I would go. You know what's gonna happen there. I've been to like Indiana versus Akron games where fans can kind of get a little heated with one another. I mean, you get up in the stands and the weather, and you get a little bit of alcohol in you, and it's like you you want to go there and do something, and so I can only imagine the just the vitriol and things like that that's going to be happening with the fans. So we'll hope that there's no fights in the stands for this one.